Welcome to Merle's Pearls of Relationship Wisdom, where I, Merle, am Singer, the relationship miracle worker, talks about all things relationship and how they impact all parts of your life. Today, I have a returning guest. Her name is Suhein Beck.
Well, let's go back to that one point in time for you. And like it really, I think it all comes together in the same thing, and that is that one-on-one. That one-on-one can make such a difference in pivots in our life. And so with us, I think we had a magic moment at our last National Speakers Association meeting in LA when I I think what it was that you and I had met previously. I was on your podcast. We had talked about my favorite topic, which is honor and the code of honor and whatnot. And you were fascinated by that because that's not something that we hear in the vernacular of English very often. But again, it comes from my Circassian culture that I want to help introduce into American culture because that is pretty much gone. Like it's the code of honor concept doesn't exist. So I, um, we went to that meeting in LA about 6 months ago, was it?
I guess.
And then we were asked
I,
to all go up and introduce ourselves.
right,
So I knew you from before,
right,
and in between, your husband had passed away.
yes, yes.
And when you went up to do your spiel on who you were as a speaker and what you were doing in the National Speakers Association and whatnot, you went into a pivot to some degree
Yes.
of completely honoring your husband as part of your speaking agenda. So we as speakers, we have our core concept, our core message that we want to present to the world. Whereas you took the mourning and grieving of your husband so deeply that that became your message, and his art and his life became your legacy. And it didn't sit well with me because I knew you as Merle before. And I felt that you had so much to offer the world, singularly as Merle, that when you did that and came back and sat down, it didn't digest with me at all. I love that you have this beautiful love that remains with you,
Yeah.
but that was his life. You have an extraordinary life and message to give. And I was like, I'm sorry. I want you to go back on stage. I really felt that strongly. And I was like, no, Merle, go back on stage and tell me your message, your life, your world, your voice as well. Like, okay, fine, you can incorporate wisdoms that he left behind or legacies or impact. But that can't be your message. So that's where I rejected. I don't even know what I said that day. So,
Well, you
but it was,
said that. You said that basically what you just said. But you came up to me afterwards and you said I don't know if you said these words or you embodied this. I'm mad at you because
oh my God.
That's not,
A
you're
grieving
not,
widow, like that's ruthless. To go to a grieving widow and basically say something like that. I'm mortified at
I don't
myself.
know that she said it. I felt it. You had such emotion, you had such passion. Now it's not like we're buddy buddies. We had this interview, and we you do get to know somebody a bit in these conversations, just like we are. It's a, and that's why I like to do interviews. um, but your feeling was so strong and so authentic and so truly honoring of who I am and not and and saying I if I can I won't let you erase that. That's what you
Ooh,
said to me.
that must have just been like a knee-jerk reaction. Like, because I don't think now, like that
Yes.
that
You
was
you
not.
said what you said now. And that's what you meant.
Hmm,
But I'm adding the feeling.
okay.
It 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 was wonderful for me to hear someone, you're talking about these tissues, that cared to that extent. I mean, you said that we want to be authentic. That was authentic. And I knew that. And you could easily have just gone home and said, oh boy, she messed that up. But you didn't. You made sure to talk to me. You
Mhm.
made sure to give me that. That was a gift.
Maybe just an adjustment or alignment of maybe from the outside being able to see something so clearly.
Yes, yes, yes. Exactly
And
right.
and this just didn't
Exactly right.
align.
Right. And it's still an issue I have. I still have to deal with it and figure out how to integrate it and even what I want to do with my own podcast and all. I mean, I'm in transition, clearly.
Mhm.
Um, but it brought me back to me. It brought me back to, oh, okay. I know what she's talking about. And it 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 taught me how how important our words are. How important it's not our words, it's our relationships. It's our w- we are a gregarious animal, whatever. We respond with other people, and just just a passing word, just a, oh, let me blurt this out right now and go home, is incredibly can have an impact. You don't have to teach a whole course. You don't have to uh you don't have to be the president of the whatever. I'll take any of a university. You don't have to be the president of any country to have an impact. And and then just go about your business and live your life. And how many people have each of us talking to audience impacted someone with just just a passing sentence and little conversation. It's and it's like when you go back to your teachers and say, I remember that one thing
Mm.
that that whatever it is. I just found that amazing.
Liberating,
um, I I I don't know, liberating. God, I don't know the word. Respectful.
validating.
No, I think we need to be intentional, and we need in what we say because everything we say is important.
Mm.
And then we need to be respectful of ourselves, of the uh, of who we are, and all our little conversation. We tend to say, "Well, what big thing have I accomplished? What company have I done? What big all these big things that I have done that I haven't done?" And we judge ourselves by these big projects in our lives when maybe instead we can think that
Wow,
our our life or the value of our life is the accumulation of these little pieces where we have connected with the world in ways that that weren't big and huge to us, but
that's
maybe we're
beautiful.
big and huge. That's
That is beautiful. I'm guilty of wanting to have accomplished the big things constantly, and I'm constantly beating myself up for that. So when I received your text of what that interaction had meant to you, was like, I took a screenshot of it and I sent it to my daughters as well, that like, yeah, this is pretty neat. Just a spontaneous moment of sincerity. And you're right, it could have been brushed off as, you know, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all,
right, right,
you
right,
know,
right,
done, the meeting's done.
right.
Peace out.
But you cared.
Yeah.
It was clear you cared.
Yeah.
That's a gift.
It is. Thank you. Yeah, and that curiosity of people and who they are and the culture they bring and all of that, because I think that Merle has a lot to offer, and um, I am sure that you have had thousands of your own gifts to other people along the way as well with your relationship podcast and helping people grieve now as well. And this experience is going to enrich you beyond, and others are going to be seeking you for that. So I can see that clearly. And I can see you taking that mourning and grieving and powerhousing it into something extraordinary exponentially. So,
I see aging as an issue.
for
Uh,
sure.
that I just broke my arm. Yeah, it's better now.
Oof.
Although I can't straighten. He says, don't push it.
Are you doing physical therapy?
The doctor said he's afraid to send me to physical therapy because they push too hard and maybe they'll break it again.
Oh,
He said, keep doing what you're doing.
are you, do you swim?
No, I don't
So
swim.
inside the pool, what I do is I wear webbed gloves and I just create just enough resistance with my arms and shoulders in order for me to have just enough resistance that it's weight resistance,
Yeah,
but it's gentle enough that it's not lifting weights per
yeah,
se. So
yeah.
that's my favorite exercise of all time is that like I kind of do
Interesting.
my own version of Pilates or whatever in the
Right,
pool
right,
with the webbed gloves,
right. Interesting.
stretching and whatnot.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would do that.
Does that mean frogs are very agile?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
But so
it's
so I was saying that the response to somebody that's 87 that fell is different than if I was 50.
I can't believe you're 87. Amazing, Merle. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. It's the purple that throws us off that
Uh,
makes us think that,
uh,
she is so with it and she is just a whippersnapper that I can associate and relate with.
yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
That's and maybe I
I
have
think
more
my
fun.
secret is that I've become more immature. So as I'm working back in property management and I am, dealing with all of these, first time career entry people and they can't believe my age, it's because I'm so immature and I talk their language and, whatnot. And they're just like, really? You're a grandma? And I'm like, oh yeah. But because I'm, so into their world and their culture and their language and their
That's it.
mannerisms that I can Gen Z stare.
That's it. It's your interest in the the major culture or something. I don't want to sit and talk about uh, my aches and pains.
Yeah.
And I don't want someone to think of me as the sum and total of my aches and pains.
Right, right. Yes, I always said I'm not going to be that mother and grandmother like,
Yes.
I'm taking this medication now and whatever.
Uh, uh, uh,
No, I
uh.
want to know about you, what's going on in your world and what's
Yes.
happening and all
Yes.
of that. Yeah,
Yes.
and I think people are I've Thanksgiving, I met up with somebody and I asked her, "Oh, did you do your turkey trot?" And she's like, "Yeah, how did you And I'm like, "Oh, because last year your hip was hurting." And she's like, "How did you remember that?" And it's because I really do care and I really am fascinated by people. But maybe it was because as a child, I had to be so observant because it was survival. You know, I had to observe everything and mannerisms of other people because I needed to know who was a threat and who wasn't. I was on constant edge. So I'm constantly on that level. And so, like I said, growing up in a terror zone in America,
Mm.
not in the Middle East, um, helped me develop these more fine-tuned skills of, you know, who's who's safe, what can I do to convince them I'm safe and I'm not a threat either. Because, as I was growing up, it was crazy because my last name now is Beck,
Right.
but it's originally Pshahaluk, spelled in the most horrific way you can imagine. It's Bchihalouk, which means you can only pronounce it in English as bitchaholic. So, hence, I shortened it legally and condensed it into Beck because I can't sell real estate as Suhein Bitchaholic. There's no way. So I wanted it to sound Jewish. I wanted it to sound Arabic. I wanted it to sound American. I wanted it to be simple. I wanted it to just be completely non-ethnic so that people would see me, I kept Suhan, and people would, like, I gauge people, and people are like, oh, what kind of a name is that? I was like, oh, my parents were hippies and they just wanted to be creative. That's my first test. And then if they pass the next few tests, I'll let them know maybe that I'm Circassian. Letting them know that I'm from Syria or that I'm Muslim is all the way in the back of the train if I trust them.
Yeah.
So it's survival. It's that observational, can I trust you
So
with,
I'll tell you where I got my observation from.
okay,
Uh, my mother would have had a thousand children. She wanted to have kids. That was something, one of the things she felt secure about. But she was a younger sister, and there clearly was that sisterly thing. And my mother would tease me. My mother would tease me till I cried. And if I said I'm not going to cry, she just kept going and going and going. If I cried early, she'd stop because I cried. So for me to figure out what that was about, I knew this woman loved me, and this was torture. And I learned to read her face. I learned how to deal with her and eventually figured out where it came from. And so I got good at relations, at reading people's
that's it.
faces, and that's
That's what
how
it
it
is.
happened.
Yeah.
And so by the time I was a teenager, I said, "Mom, no, you should treat Dad like this." And she listened to me, and it worked. So we all get it. Well, I don't know what we all
From
get.
different ways. Yeah, that
Yeah,
survival instinct, like how to survive
yeah,
pain
but
or,
how? Yes, how to read, how to survive.
mhm.
It's interesting.
Yeah. You know, when you were saying that, how many interactions we've had have changed people's lives or done things for everything. It really brings the movie It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart back to
Oh,
mind, doesn't
wow.
it?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that, is that, here he was on the verge of suicide or feeling worthless and failure on every level. He didn't travel, he didn't get his college degree, all of that. And yet he didn't realize that every step of his life has pivoted someone else in a good direction as well. And his existence had such an impact. And so wouldn't it be great for us to get that little kaleidoscope of, who we've affected all along the way? Um, I just read something, like literally just before I hopped onto the podcast, and it was that the Prophet Muhammad actually had said, peace be upon him, that when we die and then there's, the afterlife, the heaven and whatever, that there will be mountains and you will identify a mountain and say, "Oh, what is that? Where's that?" That is your mountain of good deeds. And all the unanswered prayers that you had made that are now waiting for you here because you had patience and kindness and goodness, they're waiting for you right there. To the point that Muhammad said, I wish more of my prayers were unanswered so that they would be waiting for me in such a beautiful way that I could enjoy into eternity. Just wow, that hit
Yeah.
me really well. And that, like, to answer your question, like, how many people have we affected? How many good deeds have we had? Like that sincerity exchange that you and I had, will that count
Oh, yes,
to
for
build that mountain
sure.
of good deeds at some point?
For
Will
sure.
that? and like, okay, great. Well, if that's the case, then I will have more of these. But it's not like it's conscious like that. You and I,
No,
that was a completely subconscious knee-jerk reaction. I couldn't control myself. I mortified what I said in the moment to a grieving
that's
widow.
that's that's the beauty. That's
But my inclination to be polite and to be social
yes,
was
all of us have that.
vetoed. It was
Yes.
vetoed in that moment
I know.
because I
That was its
liked you.
value.
I
That was
liked you enough to want more of you instead of living in the shadow
it
of
worked.
of your husband. And I think it's a natural win that you're a relationship coach, that now you have this deep, experience that you can offer to everyone else that you work with, as well, because especially you hit the demographic, you hit that age group of people that are in constant loss of their loved ones, and they're hitting the upper tier of aging and losing, you know. So,
And making sure not to lose themselves.
ah, that's your message. That's your message right there. Merle, that's your pearl. That's your pearl, you know, not losing yourself as you lose others, you know.
Yeah, yes, yes,
And then
yes.
you could use this, example is that like I went to a speaking engagement, I introduced myself, this person that I barely knew, but knew me enough to stop me in my tracks and shock me and say, "What are you doing? Why are you living in this shadow? And why are you using his life as your message and your legacy? It's not your legacy." I do remember saying the word legacy. That's the one thing I do remember, that his legacy is his legacy. You need to develop yours. And you can't ride the wave of his as yours. You have enough to offer in greatness to stand on your own. Who's going to speak about you? Right?
Has to start with me, I guess.
Yeah. So, um, I'm honored that I was the essence, the breath of
Yes,
in into
yes,
into you to
yes.
start this. And happy new year. Happy new chapter to you.
Exactly,
Happy
exactly.
new
This is
chapter to you.
you are the I just started back my Merle's Pearls. This just this year I said I'm gonna do one of my podcasts and one guest. You are the first guest.
I'm honored, truly. And I did not hesitate. I immediately confirmed and I immediately jumped. And like I said, like I started my new job. I'm overwhelmed getting back into the corporate world after almost 20 years being out. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. And I've been trying to hit the speaking circuit more. And now I'm back into the corporate world. So it's not easy. So this is my day off and I didn't sleep in. I jumped on this podcast. That's how much it meant. So I wish you all of the luck and the goodwill that you bring to others back to you. And I hope that Merle's Pearls do string many pearls with
Many
you
pearls.
as well. And I do. I see the success of your podcast, especially with the demographic of people that can relate, that need to hear you, don't lose yourself as you
Right.
inevitably lose others. You
Yeah.
can restring your pearls with new gems.
Yeah. Thank you for watching Merle's Pearls of Wisdom with me, your host, Merle M. Singer, the Relationship Miracle Worker. We can find the episode and past episodes on relationshipmiracleworker.com.